Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Now today guys, we are gonna be making biscuits and I am super excited to be making these. But before we actually make the biscuits, we need to know how and what ingredients we need. So let's go over the ingredients. We will need 1 cup of flour, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. We will also be needing 3 tablespoons of cold butter. I already have some in the fridge. This is some extra. We will be needing 1/2 cup of milk, a cast iron pan. If you don't have one, you can always use like a flat baking, like cake pan or something like that. That works just as well. And we'll need some parchment paper and some other necessities like a cookie cutter. And that's all we will need to be making these amazing biscuits. We'll be starting off by adding 1 cup of flour to our bowl. That is, we would be needing, by the way, all-purpose flour for this dish. It's just a bit better. Most people bake with all-purpose flour. So we will be needing 1 cup of this. And keep in mind, this is a very simple dish. This is actually, there's no eggs involved in this dish. So it is a very vegetarian dish. And what's great about this dish is that you can make it and eat it with different things. Like, I've heard people put like honey on it. You eat it with eggs, you can put jam in it. It's really great and versatile for this dish. So, let's add our baking powder. 1.5 teaspoons of this, and I'll put all like everything, like all the measurements down below as well, just for it to be a bit easier. And I believe you cannot use baking soda for this dish. You do need to use baking powder. Some people don't have baking powder, but I would recommend you get some for making this dish. All right, after putting that in, we're basically adding all our dry ingredients in. So it's great. 1 teaspoon of sugar. Now this recipe is a bit sweeter recipe for biscuits. You can make it a bit saltier. You should need to add like a bit less sugar in the dish. But I like my biscuits a bit sweeter, just because. And then we'll be needing 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt in this dish. Got it. There's too much going on. Okay. Okay, 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. All right, so now we got that all in our bowl. We're just gonna mix it real quick. Just mix it in one direction. That's how usually when you're baking, mixing it in a different direction, like different times. So if I went the other way, then it would interfere with how it's baking. And this is usually for cakes as well. Mix in one direction. Okay, we're done with all the dry ingredients. Now we're gonna be adding butter. Now keep this in mind, the butter needs to be very cold, and this will really help when making the biscuits. It makes it a bit butterier when making them. And I'm about to get some butter from the fridge that I've already gotten ready. Oh, here it is. This is the butter. Okay guys, so now at this point we don't need our whisk. So we can just put that to the side right here. And this is the butter. I just cut it into little cubes. It makes it easier to really mix it in. And keep in mind at this point we are using only our hands to be like making this dough. So make sure your hands are clean, obviously. And I'm also using unsalted butter. I think I forgot to mention that earlier. If you are using salted butter, maybe like less than the amount of salt you add, because then it might be overly salty, or maybe you want it like that. I don't know. It really depends on how you want the taste to be. So I'm gonna be starting off by adding the butter in the bowl. Oh, yeah, I add the butter in the bowl. Oops. And at this point, you go in straight with your hands for this recipe. Oops, All right, there you go. We'll be needing more butter later for baking, but for now, we use this. Start by kind of breaking up the butter into the bowl. Woo! This is great. I love like baking this kind of stuff. All right, so I'm not completely finished, but it kind of should be like the butter should start kind of breaking apart in the bowl. It should be like coarse crumbs, just to make it, you know, really crispy when baking. Super excited to see the end result. Make sure you break the butter apart a bit, so it's not in big chunks like this. Alright, so I am just about done kind of breaking the butter apart in it. It should look very coarse, like kind of crumbly. Obviously we aren't done yet because we clearly still haven't used our milk. So I'm gonna clean my hands off a tiny bit into the bowl and grab the milk. Now, alright, I'm about to finish. Okay, I'm gonna clean my hands off kind of. Obviously it's still not clean. Now I said half a cup of milk. We may not use all of this, so I put a little bit less than half. But I would just go for half. Add a bit. Okay. I'm gonna stop like this, and I'm going to start mixing with my hands into the bowl. Oh, that feels so weird. Yeah, this is so amazing though. No special technique I'm using. I'm not like a pro baker, so if you ever need any more milk, just add some, but I don't think I do. It looks amazing, you guys. Woo. Okay, make sure you get this kind of formed. Get it into kind of like a ball, you know? So it's like everything extra, you know, you would probably need in a bowl. I'm gonna get kind of all this off and add a bit more of the milk in, so I have the extra left. There's no clean way to get this off, you guys. I might just have to grab it with my hands, but that's okay, because everything when you're cooking is a bit messy, so. Add the rest of the milk in. And we'll put this off to the side. We are like that much closer, you guys, to having great biscuits. It's totally worth it, and it doesn't take very much time. Just kind of want to work with it fast because the butter is still there, and you know, it's bad if it melts, but it really just depends on the temperature in your home. At this point, you don't really want to overwork the dough, so I'm pretty much done using the bowl. And I'm just gonna grab this big ball. Oops, that didn't work out. I'm gonna grab this big ball and get all the pieces of the dough kind of together and get it on the parchment paper so that we can start kneading it. You really don't wanna overwork the dough when making this recipe because it will interfere with things, so just keep that in mind. I'm gonna start by kind of putting the dough into a flat round, or like a rectangle almost. So that it is easier to knead the dough. If you need to add a bit of flour, keep that in mind. However, I am working on parchment paper, so it should be okay to work with. You can get all the dough that is like reminiscing on your hands. Kind of get that on there. Again, make sure your hands are clean when making the dough. Okay, so I got it flat now, and I am going to be starting the kneading process. You don't need it too much, but you just need to knead it, you know, enough. So start by folding it in half from the right, and then fold it kind of a bit from the left. Oops. I added a bit flour because it was a very kind of messy thing. Add a bit, touch it. Now we're going to take it from the bottom and go to the top. And fold it, press it a bit down, layer it again. To get to the point where it bounces back by the touch, so if you press it a bit light, it like goes back. So once the dough is done, I actually just heated my cast iron pan on the stove top, put a bit of butter in it and got it very hot. This will really help crisp up the bottom of the biscuits, and I also preheated the oven to 425 degrees so that the biscuits can bake. And you can also heat your cast iron pan in the oven. This just is a bit faster. So let's start off by making our biscuits. So get your cookie cutter ready, and then I'm gonna start by using my palm and flattening it just a bit. You don't want to do it too much. Mixing the dough very lightly. Don't want to damage it in any way. Using the palm of my hand, it's a bit softer to use. And it should be like around ½ inch thick. And then we will get our cookie cutter. And press it down. Whew, my God, that's so cool. Okay, we'll press it down lightly and grab the outside. Just work around it. Be very soft and gentle with it. Oops. This is so cool, you guys. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, there we go. So we're gonna grab the dough to the side. Grab the biscuit. And that's how it looks. Ta-da! Butter is nice and hot, and it's gonna crisp up the bottom of the pan very nicely. You're gonna do the same thing with the rest of the dough. So I'm going to fast forward to when we finish. The last one didn't have enough to make a heart, so I'm just leaving it as a circle. Put the last one in the pan, and boom, we are that much closer to having great biscuits. Okay, oops. Be careful because one, it's gonna be very hot in the oven, and keep in mind, like, yes, you can put it in the oven, but keeping it like, taking it out, the cast iron is gonna be way hotter than a usual pan. So for doing that, oops, I'm going to open up the oven. It'll be a bit easier to put it in. Be careful, it is gonna be very hot, so. Okay, there we go. It is in, oops, in the oven. That'll be a joy trying to take out. And we will get back in 10 minutes. Ooh. Oh, God, that is heavy. Be careful when taking it out of the oven, and make sure you have parental supervision. Keep in mind this is a cast iron pan. If you use like a normal pan, it may be a bit easier, but being a cast iron pan, it is a bit hotter to use and carry. And just in general, make sure you're safe if you use an oven mitt. But these look so good, you guys. I'm super excited, but let's let them cool for around 2 minutes. The biscuits are out, and now because they've cooled for 2 minutes, I'm going to be putting them over here. So be very careful when taking this out, and if you are a bit young, I would also, like for my reference, I would let an adult either be in the room or let the adult do this. It just will help make sure you don't get burned. But I have an adult in the room, so it should be okay. I'm gonna start by grabbing the biscuits, just putting it on up like oh my God, you guys. I'm like so starstruck. It's Sunday, no school, meaning my brain doesn't work. On just like a plate or something like that. Just grab them. Whew. You guys, these are so hot. But they look very. All right, guys, we're not done yet because we have some leftover butter. And as I said, we did need extra butter besides the biscuits. So I melted off some butter. There isn't no specific amount I melted, maybe like a tablespoon or so. I'm gonna get some butter. I'm super excited. Oh, let's be careful. And let's let it go on our biscuits. It's like painting them, kind of, you know. Get it on top first. Whoops. And then you can go more specific, and you can kind of go in like the little cracks that we have in our biscuits. All on. And you can totally skip this step, but I don't understand why you would. get in like the little cracks. And it will make it a bit more buttery and a bit more golden. These are how the biscuits look. They look amazing. And as I said before, you don't have to use butter. You can put honey on top. You can put strawberries in cream in the middle of the biscuits. You can use eggs and cheese and bacon, whatever you want to be eating these with. You can do what you want, but these are the final results of the biscuits that we've just made. Wow! That looks so flaky and delicious inside. Hope you guys enjoy this recipe that we've just made. I really hope you guys try making these because they are delicious. Trust me, I've never been like a biscuit person, but they're amazing. If you do make them, please put it on Instagram, share it with me on Instagram. I will put the Instagram that I have down below for you guys to check them out. Hope y'all have an amazing day. Stay safe, have fun. Bye guys. Hey, Valish Mama, did you see what I made?
Ooh, I love them. So now I'm going to give you my order. Can I have just egg and biscuit? Just folded egg, no cheese and no bacon, please. And also, can you give me a couple of hash browns so that I don't go to McDonald's anymore?
Sure, of course.
Awesome.